Today I want to talk about a different topic, and that is called taxation and dog breeding. Now, I am not an expert dog trainer or anything else, but the one thing, as a CPA, I am a tax expert. And so when it comes to dog breeding, people will wonder about the taxations. Now, some people will say, well, it's an adoption fee and not for profit, and make that mistake. Try again. Generally, if you breed for taxes, well, not for money, or however, you can do this at different levels. It kind of goes down to what is your source of income, what, do you intend to make a profit? In other words, is this a hobby or not? Now, my husband is the one that incurred the costs and received the money and is the breeder. So, but at this juncture, we are, we're not doing it for a profit. We do it because we love the dogs, and I assure you we made no money. But for tax purposes, number one, do not make the mistake of leaving it off your taxes. From somebody who did IRS representation, especially on the state level, they will look and see if you're advertising. So number one, do not make the mistake of saying, oh, well, I'm just going to leave it off my taxes. You know what? Don't do that. Now, the second question is, am I a Schedule C, which means a business not-for-profit? And when people think about that, they think that, oh, well, I don't have a brick-and-mortar business, so I'm not self-employed. Wrong again. So the first thing you have to gauge is, are you doing this for a profit? Is this your main source of income? And then start from there. Now, in our case, this is not a for-profit concept, trust me, because we would be horrible at it. And it's certainly not a main source of revenue. For my husband, it will be deemed, because he incurred the cost, he's a breeder, and he got the revenue source. This is what's going to be deemed hobby income. So let's say that, and I'm just going to throw out a number, it's not the real number, that for the litter, he made $5,000. What happens is on your line 21 of your 1040, and when you get to your tax purposes, this is going to be deemed hobby income. But that's not a net effect. What happens is that you can't say, well, hey, I had $5,000 in income and I had $5,000 in expenses, so 0 to line 21. Wrong again. You're going to put $5,000 on your line 21 of your 1040, and you're going to deduct $5,000 from your Schedule A. It will not be a net effect. So there's more to this, but let me go ahead and explain that you can't just net out before you report the income. It does not work that way. Now, let's talk about if you are the breeder and you are a spouse, and that is your sole source of income, and that's what you do all day, and that it's for the intention of a profit. All things being equal, that could be deemed what's called a Schedule C or a line 12, which is subject to self-employment tax. Now, I'm not going to get heavy on this. And again, I'm not an expert on dog training. I'm not an expert on dogs. I am an expert on taxes. So I guess what I'm backing up and saying is, number one, you cannot leave this off of your taxes. I can't say whether you will or will not be caught, but from experience, when I was in practice and I was a partner at a firm, the state agencies will look for advertisements, and the adoption fee, try again. I'm not trying to scare you, but I am saying there is something to be said for being compliant. So the question that you ask as a breeder of dogs are, number one, are you doing it for profit or are you doing it for hobby? In other words, is this your main source of income, or is this something you're doing as an aside? That's question number one. If it's your main source of income, i.e. the spouse that sits at home and does this as a primary source of income, you're grazing into self-employment. If you are doing this as an aside and you both have occupations or what have you, now you're getting into hobby income. And quick note, and again, I'm not going to get super heavy because this gets complicated. If you are hobby income, let's say it's $5,000, then your deduction is limited to $5,000. So I'll just leave it at that. Anyway, I just wanted to point this out because I'm not an expert on many things, but tax, especially on an individual level, I'm very much an expert on. Anyway, thanks so much, and if you like what we're doing, please don't forget to subscribe, and thank you so much from Cerberus German Shepherds.